Hey everybody, it's Hylian Alchemist, and welcome back to Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. In the last episode, we find that Tooty has been kidnapped by Gruntilda, and so we start things off by doing some tutorials. In this episode, we're going to be setting out to find Tooty by venturing right into Gruntilda's lair at long last. Ooh, this doesn't look good. Because Grunty can barely even fit her fat ass into this machine.
This fine contraption, so I'm told, will make me young and Tooty old. Let me go, you fat hag! My brother will come and kick your butt! Rescue you, he will not dare! There's many dangers in my lair! Hurry, Klungo, push that switch! I'm tired of being an ugly witch!
Yes, Mr. Scrunty, our results soon be ready.
Banjo, help!
Thank you very much for tolerating my rather shrill and very mediocre voice acting right there. Hey, you know what? I do the best I can because, well, I mean, I'm not a fully fledged voice actor, but, you know, I just felt like it, so there, just face it, just face it. Anyway, ooh, whoa, what is this right here? It's a Jiggy! Nice! So anyways, so yeah, these right here are the Jiggies, and of course, they are very much, you guessed it, the power stars in this game. Yeah, these are the key factor for the collectibles they have here, and they are needed for unlocking the levels. And there are actually a total of 100 in this game, so yeah, of course, I am going to be collecting every single Jiggy, which, you know, all 100 of them. So yeah, that was our very first Jiggy that is just very easy to find, just on the very left of Gruntilda's lair. Gruntilda's lair is essentially the hub world of this game, like, you know, kind of like Peach's Castle in Super Mario 64. That's what this whole place is in a nutshell. It's you know, it's where you just go to different levels of the game, like, you know, like this one, for example. This right here is a picture of our first world, and of course all it needs is a Jiggy. If you don't have it, well, there's a Jiggy that you have right there, and you can only use that Jiggy to get to that picture. It's, well, the only one you ever can use for right now, because there's actually, like, more moves and whatnot, or other things that we need to traverse further into the lair. And so, now that we've filled in the missing piece for the picture of this world, we can now enter the new world, and that is called Mumbo's Mountain. Our very first level of the game, and of course, seeing as it's first level, then it's, you know, relatively easy. Alright, so here we are, Mumbo's Mountain. Okay, sorry for that voice crack right there. Okay, I'm sorry, I kind of forced it right there. I was like, here we are! Like, somehow I'm kind of like this, and so excited, and then just, there's that voice crack right there. It happens sometimes, so yeah, I do apologize for that. But, anyway, so yeah, quite a lot of things I want to go over. Like, there's a bunch of collectibles. For instance, this right here is a Mumbo token. And it's actually it's essential for the kind of transformations, I would say, from a character that we'll later meet called Mumbo Jumbo. And basically, well, I mean, we'll go over this a little later once we actually meet Mumbo Jumbo in question. But anyways, so anyway, I said that twice. I'm sorry about that. My brain is not working today for some reason, so I guess I'll just go ahead and go over some things right now. So anyway, yeah, that pink and blue little critter right there, that is called a Jinjo. There are a total of 5 of the Jinjos in each of the world that Gruntilda's imprisoned. Well, not so much imprisoned, they're just standing there, completely lost, so I don't get how that is. If you collect 5 of them, then you get a Jiggy. And these right here are the music notes, and there are a total of 100 in each world. And they are used to, basically to open the note world doors, I mean the note doors that you can find in Grunty's lair. So that way there you can be able to traverse a little further into the lair itself. This right here is a beehive, and basically they're pretty defensive by their honeycombs, so you can just destroy them, and then there's the honeycombs right there. So if you're very low on health and you really need some honeycombs, well, if you see a beehive, make sure you destroy it. That way there you can collect more honeycombs that there is. Anyways, let's see, I know I also want to go over the enemies, but there's also the collectibles I want to go over as well. So, yeah, I did this over the Jinjos. I also did so for the music notes. There's a new move that we can learn right here. There's actually 3 moves in this world here. This right here is called a talent trot, and basically it's used for climbing up steep slopes, and just by pressing and holding Z and then the left C button. And make sure they hold Z, so that way they're, or keep Z held, so that way you can be able to still use the talent trot. And yeah, basically to show it off, there's just a couple of steep slopes. You can only just use the talent trot to get up there, because, you know, you just as Banjo alone, then you can just slip down them. But the talent trot, you can just climb those kind of steep slopes. And I'll probably just show that off for a bit right here, like basically how the talent trot looks. Yeah, like that right there. And also, this is actually something that a lot of, well, basically every speedrunner use, because Kazooie is pretty fast here. Like, she can still be able to carry Banjo like that, and she's still fast. Like, this is basically the fastest kind of the fastest kind of speed that you have here. But when you use the talent trot, because Banjo isn't exactly the fastest thing alive right here. So yeah, when it comes to speed runs, then yeah, a lot of people just use the talent trot. So that way they can just be able to just speed on through. Well, the only thing about it is, though, is that you're going to be hearing Kazooie's voices so many times as she walks. Like, she keeps doing that, like that. She does that over and over again, and it's basically what people call the most annoying sound here. Unfortunately, even with the talent trot, we can't even get up Ticker's Tower right here, but we still need to get Mumbo stuffing right here as well. And next up, there's another move right here for us, and actually something that probably would have been taught to us to begin with. This right here is the Beat Buster, and just by pressing A and then Z, it's basically the ground pound for this game. Just by having Kazooie slam into the ground and like basically either pressing switches or just destroying stuff like the huts right here. Yep, like that right there. It's basically the ground pound. I will go ahead and, oh, there's a voice crack again, sorry about that. Yeah, you'll be hearing that a lot, but, anyway, so, this enemy right here is called a Grublin, and, well, they're kind of like, you know, just basic enemies, or just, well, I would say the Goombas, and just by using the forward roll, then they're just defeated like that. And, of course, there's the eggs right here, which we'll, learn more about from bottles here. And there's another Jiggy right here for us. So what I want to go ahead and explain here is that, each of the worlds, they actually, have their own kind of collectibles that you want to go ahead and collect. Basically, the most, important collectibles that are here, there's the Jiggies, of course, which are the main ones. All the Jinjos, of course, where they have the Jiggies if you collect all 5 of them. Music notes, which you see right here, and also honeycombs. There's a total of 10 Jiggies in each world, 100 music notes, and 2 empty honeycomb pieces to collect. Those are basically the most crucial collectibles for each of the worlds. Now, here is one thing you really do need to keep in mind, and this only applies to the N64 version right here. You can only collect every single 100 music, or every 100 of the music notes in one go, because if you actually leave the world and then come back, then the music notes actually reappear. So if you didn't collect every single music note, like let's say you've collected 50, but then you leave the world, and then if you come back, well, you're gonna have to recollect the music notes again. It's kind of like how in Super Mario 64 with the 100 coin mission, in order to get the star, then if you actually die, or if you leave the world, or you know, basically get booted out of the painting, then you have to do the entire collectathon all over again. And you know, that's something that I kind of had a grudge against the 100 coin collectathon, is because, you know, because some of the coins can be so scarce, or if you try to collect a coin but then they move, like after you defeat an enemy, they release the coins, and then they start moving around you, and there's a chance you might miss one. Or, for one thing, that the star would appear right above Mario's head, and it could happen in one of the worst places to do so, and therefore you can never get a star, ever. So you have to do the whole collectathon all over again. That is one thing that's very annoying about it, and so, yeah, I could probably say the same thing about it here too, just having to start over again, but this is something that's, Okay, you know what? I'm just not gonna worry about the voice cracks that I keep on doing. This is something that I kind of... Well, one thing about that Banjo-Kazooie does have over Mario 64 is that it's not as painful as Wonder Coin Collectathon, well, just the music notes, because at least they're lined up in each of the areas very nicely. And so that way they're a little easier to just go and pick up. So they're not as annoying this time around as in Mario 64. So that's kind of one thing I do like about it overall. And same thing applies for the Jinjos as well. Yeah, the Jinjos will reappear, and you have to collect them all over again. Although there are just 5 of them, so of course they're not quite that annoying either. Anyway, let's see here. There's another one that I want to... There's another thing I also do want to mention. And I completely forgot. I gotta say though, I actually do like seeing the Banjo dance right here every time he collects the Lesser Jiggy. It's nice to see, but another thing that we can also talk about, and this is where we can be taught about the eggs right here that we've been picking up. So yeah, the ancient ways of the egg. So basically what they do is that you just press and hold Z and then press the top C button to shoot the egg out of Kazooie's mouth. And there's also an alternative to do that, although it's not all that useful here. If you press the lower C button, basically, Kazooie can actually shit out the eggs, which you'll see pretty soon here. Yeah, I wish you never asked. Yeah, be careful what you wish. Be careful what you wish for, Kazooie. And of course, you can use a control stick to aim while crouching. And sure as eggs setting right here. And that's all the moves that we can learn here. Bottles can also restore your health if you're a little low on health right there. So there you go. And that's how you use the eggs right here. You just shoot them, and then, or you can just shit them right here. Okay, of course, you can also pick them back up if you do so. And also, in each of the world it also has, oh, look at that right there, a Grunty switch. You use a V buster on it, and then what happens is that a Jiggy, or something will lead you to a Jiggy, will actually appear in Grunty's lair. So you'll find pretty much a lot of the Grunty switches in each of the worlds. So just make sure you ground pound on them, and then you'll be able to get a Jiggy that can be found in Grunty's lair, which which you can also collect. And if you want to go for 100% completion, then you can get those too. This right here is Conga. Basically, well, the quote-unquote boss of Mumbo's Mountain. Like, bosses are not quite as emphasized as, okay, I didn't mean for that to happen. I'm usually very good at dodging his oranges, and yeah, that's what you have to do. Like, just dodge his oranges that he throws at you. He does so every time you shoot an egg at him, which his number increases every time. All you gotta do is just shoot 3 eggs at him, and then that's about it. Pretty easy boss, I would say. But it's not like, you know, I mean, it may seem like a boss, but bosses are not quite emphasized in this game, because you don't really encounter them in every world. I mean, there are some in each of the world, in some of the worlds, but not a whole lot of them, I would say. But anyways, let's see here. So, I think I'm starting to remember what I was trying to say. So, the only kind of permanent collectibles that are for each of the worlds would be the Jiggies, of course, and the empty honeycomb pieces. If you pick them up, then you just keep those with you. But yeah, the Jiggies are just mainly used for filling out the pictures for each of the worlds for you to unlock. So, as long as you have a lot of Jiggies, then you'll be able to unlock more worlds. And this right here is the Juju right here. Now before you once you get to the last totem right here, make sure that you make sure that you don't shoot the egg, because there's the empty honeycomb piece right there. You can only get it when there's only one Juju totem left. So before you shoot the egg into his mouth, just make sure you get on top of him, then that way there you can get the empty honeycomb piece. Then you can shoot the egg into his mouth, and there you go. It's completely impossible otherwise. Anyway, so here's where the Mumbo tokens come into play. So this right here is Mumbo Jumbo, and this mechanic right here that we have are the transformations. Basically, if you have the Mumbo tokens, or the right number of Mumbo tokens that you have, then just donate them, and then in exchange, Mumbo will go ahead and transform you into a different animal. And this right here is a termite. So, it's basically like, you know, well, he would say according to himself that the termite is basically his first kind of a magic they would do. Completely useless, so he doesn't have any kind of attack whatsoever. He's just there to be able to, well, one thing he actually does, though, is that, two things. He can actually go the even steeper slopes that normally the Talon Trot wouldn't do, and he can also be able to walk underwater. Completely fine, but just being able to breathe underwater for some weird-ass reason I can never understand. It's weird like that. And that way there, we can be able to climb up Tigger's Tower, which we really cannot do. Even with a Talon Trot, you can't even climb these slopes. So it's kind of impossible when you're just regular Banjo-Kazooie. And there we go, we now have 100 notes, and every time you collect 100, then you actually get an extra life right here. I think, yeah, there's another thing that I kind of remember mentioning. So yeah, I think back to what I was saying about the music notes. So yeah, let's see. I was also kind of comparing it to the coins in Mario 64. But like, yeah, like, it doesn't really kind of get your score, basically. Like, you do have your score. Oh yeah, there's also the Jiggy Fanfare here, but since we've been transformed there, we don't really get the animation like Banjo's dance. He normally does a Banjo dance, but we don't get to see it here because, well, he's an ant. But anyway, so yeah, we have all 10 Jiggies, all 100 music notes, and there's the total, and it took me about, like, 13 minutes to get this done. And I always just check the total, the game total, just to make sure I haven't missed anything. But anyway, I keep interrupting myself, so... So if you actually do leave the world and you come back and you haven't collected all 100 of the music notes, if you actually do manage to get past, like, let's say 50, which would be your note score, then Boz will let you know that you've gone past your note score, then you can just go and collect the rest. Like, it won't necessarily kind of get to your note score, but you do make sure that you collect all 100 of them, so that way there, you basically complete your note collection, and then that way there, or therefore your 100% completion for this game. Also, as Gruntilda will demonstrate later on, whenever you enter a world and then you leave, the enemies from that world will now start to appear at Grunty's Lair, usually right near the entrances of the world itself. And also, Mumbo's transformations are also restricted as well, where if you actually leave the world and then you leave a little further into the world, then you'll turn back into Banjo and Kazooie themselves. Because magic will get weaker, and then you just get changed back. And yeah, that's where Grunty demonstrates how the enemies from the worlds will start to appear into Grunty's lair. And this is also where the music notes will come to play, as you can see here. So, we actually do need 50 to open up this note door right here. But the more notes you collect, then the more chances you have to be able to freely explore Grunty's lair. So try to collect as many notes as possible, and we'll just make sure you collect all 100 of them. It is part of the 100% completion. And I also was gonna go over more of the Mumbo tokens. The Mumbo tokens themselves aren't really they're not really the most crucial part of the main collectibles themselves, but you do still need to get a lot of them. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that Mumbo's skull, like Mumbo's skull right here for the transformations, he won't be in every single world there is. He'll be in some worlds, but not in every single one of them. However, the Mumbo tokens will still be in the worlds themselves. So try to collect as many Mumbo tokens as possible. Like, if you see some of them, make sure you collect it, because in the later worlds themselves, the number of Mumbo tokens that you need will increase for a bit. So that way they're, like, you can never really have too many, so, basically that's just what I'm saying. So, just make sure you grab as many of those tokens as possible, so that way it's more of a guarantee that you'll be able to have more than enough of the tokens for whichever transformation has in store for you. So, let's see here, I think that's probably all I can go over, well, for now, because I'm at the end of the video already, so... I could probably just explain more in the next video, but I just don't want to take too much of the time when it comes to collectibles. I do apologize if it seems like I haven't really explained enough. If there's anything else that I haven't really explained, let me know in the comments if you can, and then I'll just be sure to let other people know in the next videos, because I can't really seem to remember everything whenever I talk about stuff. So I do apologize for that. it kind of slips my mind. I can't even speak today. So yeah, I'll try to explain more of what I can remember. So anyway, next on Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie, we're going to be going a little further into Gruntilda's Lair and see what the next world has in store for us. So until next time, see you guys later.